Minerva Turnbow Malone was an African-American businesswoman, inventor, philanthropist. She was the very first African-American woman to become a millionaire. Let me say it again. She's one of the first African-American women to become a millionaire in the first decade of the 20th century. Excuse me. She was born near Metropolis. Okay, she was orphaned at a young age. Okay, in the 1900s, Turnbow moved with her older siblings to Lovejoy, okay, now known as Brooklyn. While experimenting with hair and different hair care products, she developed and manufactured her own line of non-damaging hair straighteners, special oils, and hair stimulant products for African American women. She named her new product the Wonderful Hair Grower. To promote her product, Turnbow sold the Wonderful Hair Grower in bottles door to door. Her product sales and began to revolutionize hair care methods for all African Americans. In 1902, she moved to St. Louis, where it was thriving. Where she hired assistants, sold her hair care products door to door, kind of like Avon lady. As part of her marketing, she gave away free treatments and attracted more customers. In 1902, she married Nelson Pope, and they got divorced in 1907. She got married again to Malone, a former teacher and religious book salesman. Due to her high demand in St. Louis, she opened her first shop. She also launched a wide advertising campaign in the black press, held news conferences, toured many southern states, and recruited many women whom she trained to sell her products. One of her selling agents, Sarah Breedlove Davis, who became Madam C.J. Walker. Then she set up her own business, operated in Denver, Colorado, until a disagreement led Walker to leave the company. Miss Walker took the original Poro formula, created her own brand, and Miss Annie Malone is the first person to make her own products for black women and gets little credit for the accomplishment. This development was one of the reasons which led Turnbow to copyright her products under the name Poro because of what she called fraudulent imitations to discourage counterfeit versions. Poro was a combination of married name of Annie Pope and her sister Laura Roberts. Due to the growth of her business, in 1910, she moved to a larger facility. In addition to having the plant, she contained facilities for a beauty college, which she named Poro College. The building included a manufacturer plant and retail stores. Poro products were sold. Okay. She became a multi-millionaire. In 1924, she paid taxes of 40. Look, the girl has some grip. I'm going to say that. This is what I want to say. Hold on before I get through with Annie. She lived modestly, giving $1,000 to local black YMCA, Howard University College of Medicine. It's just crazy to me that we when you hear her name, you normally hear it in a negative way, like the light-skinned black woman that was a rival of C.J. Walker. Okay. C.J. Walker, who was born Sarah Breedlove, 1867. Walker's own hair loss prompted her to seek a cure. In 1890s, Walker began to lose her hair. Her work, even though she was doing the clothes and laundry, stuff like that, she was very smart. Okay. Her hair was damaged, and this was a thing that was going on back then. Because a lot of women who washed clothes, they were exposed to harsh light soap and dirt and hot steam. That was the only job women could do back then. Okay, so from that, it made a lot of women lose their hair. And regular shampooing was impossible because the lights and the pollutants were untreated, and not enough nutrition made the hair. You couldn't really maintain the healthy hair. In addition, many products used by black women, such as preparation made with ox marrow, they damaged their hair. Some women wore head wraps to hide their bald patches, and Walker didn't follow that path. For one thing, such an attire would mark her a lower social status. So wearing a scarf on your head was a no-no. So you just lost your hair. You lost your hair. She embarked a cure for her hair loss. As she was trying to figure out what she was going to do in St. Louis, um, she drew on her experience as a washerwoman when she learned properties of cleaners like lye soap. Products she could buy, another resource for Walker, through at the time, a few items were tailored to curls, texture for black women's hair, but Annie Turnbull's Poro line of hair care was different. Turnbull was a black woman who arrived in St. Louis ahead of the 1904 World's Fair, where she would promote her hair care products methods around 1903. Walker began to use Turnbull's products like the Great Wonderful Hair Grower, and Walker Hair's problems apparently benefited from this care. She ended up becoming a sales agent. Walker eventually came up with her own own line of products. She became a cook for pharmacist Edmund L. Schultz, who may have helped her understand the chemistry of such products. She got married to Joseph Walker and began to call herself Madam C.J. Walker, a name she held onto after her marriage had ended. By this time, she had developed her own formula to heal scalps and spur hair growth. She stopped working for Turnbull, and the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company started selling Madam C.J. Walker Wonderful Hair Grower in 1906. Ingredients included sulfur, copper, sulfate, beeswax, and petroleum jelly, coconut oil, and a violent extract perfume to cover the smell. Once explained the formula of her hair grower came to her in a dream. God answered my prayer, for one night I had a dream. In the dream, a big black man appeared to me and told me what to mix up for my hair. Some of the remedy was grown in Africa, and I sent for it, mixed it, put it on my scalp, and in a few weeks my hair was coming in faster and it had ever fallen out. I tried it on my friends. It helped them. I made my mind up. I began to sell it. She simply adapted from her former employee's formula. Her creation was called Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower, close to the name of Turnbull's Wonderful Hair Grower. Both products contain sulfur, used to treat dandruff and other health conditions. Turnbull was aggrieved enough to advertise that customers should be aware of imitations, but otherwise there was a little she could do. Walker's great-great-granddaughter biographer noted, and just FYI, the movie is based on that book too as well. If you look at the medical journals, this mixture of petroleum and sulfur had been around for hundreds of years. Neither of these women really created the recipe. Interesting. Preparations. If you want beauty, loveliness of hair, try Madam C.J. Walker's world-renowned toilet preparations. It's funny how they call it toilet. That's the way they called it back then. They really did. She wanted her products to benefit black women, not change them. Along with her hair grower, Walker's early products included glycine, a pressing oil, and vegetable shampoo. She urged clients to shampoo more often, to follow her Walker system, using the hair grower oil and hot combs to produce healthier hair. However, though she popularized hot combs and straightened hair, Walker's goal wasn't to alter appearance of black women's hair. Let me correct the impression held by some by claiming to straighten hair. I deplore the impression, because I've always held myself out as a hair culturist. I grow hair. The Walker product line grew to include creams and soaps, but Walker always stayed focused on the health of her clients' hair, helping women take pride of themselves in appearances. So, I wanted to highlight about Annie and her when I talked about this movie. I didn't want to actually talk about the movie because people said that the movie was based upon what her granddaughter said. And they also said the difference between Madam C.J. Walker and Annie is that C.J. Walker had a knack for being a storyteller, being a good advertiser, selling herself, selling her brand, as we say on YouTube. She was great at that. Not saying that Annie was not. Annie was smart as well. But maybe it's first come, first serve. She came out. She had the different products that was out there on she even got with a lot of black leaders who was in the limelight. So I just think they did what they had to do. Man, C.J. Walker just hustled more. And she did take the formula from Annie. That's very obvious. Okay? So in that part of the story, it shows that Annie was going after CJ the whole time. But if you really think about it, CJ stole it from Annie, so Annie kind of had every right to be mad. There wasn't a whole lot a black woman could do back then if someone was stealing something from them. I don't care how light-skinned your color is. There wasn't a whole lot they can do about it besides go back and forth. So, that, I will say, the movie itself was good, but I wanted to get down deep into the history of the story behind it, because when you watch a movie, it's usually loosely based on a book that does not have all the accurate, anyway. That's all I got for you guys. Go watch the movie on Netflix. You guys give me your opinion in the comments, tell me what you think and about the information I just told you. And then go watch the movie and let me know what you think. Leave me in the comments below. And I want to say it again to everybody, please stay home, stay safe. Think about your nana, think about your grandma. Stay home. If it's not that important to be out there, don't be out there.